So sometimes you get in the habit of chasing new clients over and over again, and that's all you kind of put your focus on. But there's actually 4 ways that I'm going to go through where you can 4x your income for your company without actually taking on any new clients. So I'm going to go through each and every one of these today, and these are things that you can implement into your company straight away, like immediately. So the first one is retention. So very, very obvious one. What we need to start to look at here is not the monthly figure or the package deal that we actually get with your client. We've got to start looking at LTV, so lifetime value of a client. So let's say you charge £200 per month and the average client lasts 3 months with you. That is an LTV, a lifetime value of £600, and this is what you need to start looking at. So if you get a better retention rate, you allow your clients to stay on a little bit longer. Let's say they last 5 months instead of 3. You've just boosted your LTV from £600 to £1,000. So really, really good way, and this is the way that I want you to start looking at things. So retention being the first way. So if you get better at what you actually do as a coach, you're naturally going to boost retention. So you can do this in a few ways. Now, people naturally stay on longer with you if they see a future with you. So human beings naturally want to progress. So like whether they want a better body, a better house, better car, nicer holiday, nicer life in general, right? A promotion at work, more income. People want to progress. It's in our nature to progress and to have a future in whatever you're actually doing. So you need to show your clients that there is a future in what they're actually doing with you. So this isn't an 8-week plan, a 12-week plan. You've got to paint the picture for 6 months time, 12 months time, 3 years down the line. If you can paint the picture for the future and they can see a future in the relationship between the two of you, you're naturally going to keep people on a hell of a lot longer. The second way is, are they actually happy? So asking for feedback from your clients and seeing if they're happy with the process, happy with what they're actually doing. This is another fantastic way to boost retention, because if someone's genuinely enjoying the relationship with their coach, they're going to stay on longer. They're not necessarily going to leave. And the third way is results. So are they actually seeing the results that they joined you for in the first place? If they're not, they're naturally going to drop off. If they are, they're going to continue that process with you because they're seeing a reward for all of their hard work. So just a few ways that you can boost retention and boost their LTV, okay? The second way is upselling. Now, upselling is something that a lot of big companies do, and you probably don't realize that they're doing it. They're doing it right in front of your nose. So if you go to Starbucks and you ask for a coffee, they will naturally say, would you like to make that a large? Or would you like to have that coffee in a particular bean? Or would you like to have any additional syrups with that coffee? So what they're doing, just by asking that one question, they are upselling to you. Now, it might seem really small and like people might say no to it, but those people that do say yes, that money adds up over time. If you had 1 in 4 people that said yes to that question and you added an extra £50 onto your monthly rate, let's say, if that person is staying 5 months with you, £50, you've just added £250 onto the lifetime value of that client just by asking that question. So really, really important that you get in the habit of doing that. And this is what big companies do to leverage profits and add a lot more revenue to their company. And this is something a lot of online coaches just aren't doing, simply aren't doing. So get in the habit of asking that question when it comes to actually closing that client. The key thing with upselling is the timing in which you ask that question. So as you'll notice with the Starbucks example, they ask the question after you've already committed to the coffee. So they're not asking you the question before whilst you're actually deciding what coffee or what drink you actually want. You've asked for your order and then they ask you the question, because if they're in a state where they've actually committed to something, they're more likely to commit to the additional question that you're about to ask. So really important that you get that timing absolutely nailed down. And again, a fantastic way to increase LTV and increase the money that you earn just from that same client. The next one is aftercare. Now, this is one of my personal favorites, and this is like something that most coaches just don't do. And if I'm being honest, the vast majority of the time it's just an ego thing. So when a client wants to leave you, sometimes the emotion can take over and you naturally just let them go, which is very, very common across the fitness industry. Whereas in actual fact, if you actually try and fight for your client, and John's done a video on this actually, if you actually try and fight for your clients and actually try and see what you can do to keep them on, see what you can do to keep them progressing and keep them moving forward, take the ego away, you can actually keep that client on, even if it's 50% of the rate that they were charging before. Let's say you're charging 200, you keep them on for 100, they stay on for an extra 3 months with you, you just added £300 onto the lifetime value of that client when you would have gone from £200 to zero. So just removing the ego out of the equation, having an honest conversation with that person. If it's a financial reason why that person actually wants to leave, have a conversation with them. What can you afford to stay on this program? You've made fantastic progress so far. I want you to continue on this journey. I want to see you succeed. I want to see you achieve that goal that we set out to achieve. So what can we do? Let's work as a team. What can we do together to keep this relationship alive, keep you part of this community, and keep you progressing forward? So remove the ego and fight for your clients and try and keep them on, no matter what you've got to do. Again, another way to massively boost your LTV, the lifetime value of that client. And the last thing is committing and saving, okay? So let's say, go back to the average retention rate. Let's say it's 5 months because you've got better at what you do. Now, if that person has a goal that's in 12 months time, offer them the opportunity to commit to the whole program. We often get caught up in chasing for that monthly figure because you want monthly income to come in because your expenses are typically monthly, which is completely understandable. And as you're building, I quite often advise that. But don't be afraid to actually offer that person the opportunity to commit to the whole program. And what you can do is you can either knock a little bit of money off the top, so 10%, or you can add something to the actual program itself to increase the value as an incentive for committing to the whole program. Now, if your average retention rate is typically 5 months and someone commits to 12 months, straight away, the lifetime value of that client is through the roof. So don't be afraid to offer that when it comes to actually closing that client. Now, across all 4 of these, you can actually include all 4 of them. You don't necessarily have to include just one of them. With every single client that you come through, I recommend that you try and nail down every single one of these 4 with all of the clients that you actually work with. And these are 4 ways to 4x your income without bringing in any new clients.